I finally got a hold of this. This is the Brook FGC Wingman converter. This converter allows you to connect many wire fighting sticks to the PS5, PS4, and PC. Even though it's meant to work with fight sticks, it'll work with controllers as well. The reason why I bought this guy is because I want to use my PS4 controllers on the PS5. And here's the converter. You plug your controller in here and you plug this into the PS5 or the PC. Now, if you're wondering if using this converter will cause additional input lag, you've come to the right place. Let's find out. The data is in. Let's go through them. On the DualShock 4 without a converter, minimum input delay 2.2, maximum 4.04 milliseconds, and on average we got 3.86 milliseconds with the polling rate of 258 Hz. If you're using the converter, minimum input delay is going to be 0.83, maximum, now this is going to be all over the place. The highest I got in this test is 43.92, average input delay is 5.92, and the polling rate is 168. As you can see here, using the converter is going to put you about 100 Hz less than without the converter. On average, you're going to have an additional 2 milliseconds. Let's move on to the DualSense. So without it, the DualSense numbers are very similar to the DualShock 4's numbers. Look at this. It's essentially the same across the board. And it's the same thing for the converter as well. The difference for the polling rate is about 100 Hz. And we have roughly 2.5 milliseconds of difference. On the DualSense Edge, without a converter, this is just insane. Look at this. 0.61 minimum, maximum 1.93, on average 0.9, that's under a millisecond, and the polling rate is over 1,000. And when you use it with the converter, again, it's the same thing. The polling rate falls around the 160 to 170 mark. What this means is this is the output of the converter, and it doesn't really matter what device you put in it. It's going to be around 6 milliseconds of input delay on average. And I know what you may be thinking, wow, this is really bad results. This is making the controller slower. But if you really think about it, 6 milliseconds is actually not bad at all. It's certainly faster than the 8-bit Pro 2 controllers, and it's also faster than the Xbox controller as well. I personally think that this is not bad at all, and 6 milliseconds is not very noticeable. If you give me a controller with 6 milliseconds of input delay, I'll take that any day. And it makes sense that there would be some sort of input delay, right? It's gonna take the information from the fight stick or the gamepad and convert it on the fly to feed it to the PS5 so that the inputs can be read. Remember, 1 second has 1,000 milliseconds in it. So 6 milliseconds is extremely fast. If you're curious if updating the firmware will improve the input lag, well, I've tested it. For the DualShock 4, polling rate's the same, average input delay the same. For the DualSense, before the firmware update, 162, after also 162, same average input delay. And then with the Edge, 167 here, 168, the same average input delay of 5.94. Alrighty, hopefully you found this video to be helpful. If you did, give it a like, subscribe for more, and take care now.